I know the whole conversation today has been around the debate. It seems like every video has been about that. And it's what we should be paying attention to, because it is choosing a president for us for the next 4 years. But out of the debate, what comes of it? And I think that that's what we need to address today. We're going to discuss a few other details that people are not talking about when it comes to the outcome. Not who won the debate, not who looked weaker. We all know that. Everybody has the same answer there. But what did we learn from it? Today, let's dive a little deeper in, okay, we have just a few months before, unless they change him out, the presumptive winner will be the former president. What do you think people are doing now to get ready and to accomplish what they may want to accomplish while Biden is still president? Let's dive a little deeper on that question, because I think that we're going to see some crazy next 4 to 5 months. Let's jump in. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. It does sure help us stay in the algorithm here, and we hope to spread our message across this platform as we try to build a more common sense approach and a wiser way to raise our families and make sure we're doing it in the best way that actually honors our family and wants to see our family thrive during this time. Now, last night, I mean, it was just a sham. Trump did phenomenal. Biden did not. He needed to show up, and he did not. He looked weak, and he looked like a feeble little man. Best case scenario for Trump is Biden's is the presumptive nominee. He stays the nominee, and they are the two running. That is the best case for Trump. Will they try to switch him out? Maybe. The delegates are pledged, so that means Biden would have to step down. They can't actually get him out. He has to be the one to decide, quote unquote, decide. There was a leaked cell phone footage where Jill had to help him off stage, and it's actually sad. It really is sad. It's a very sad state. But what did we learn? Wasn't the fact of the talking points? We heard the same thing that we hear from both of these men all the time. But what I think we learned is this. I think the world learned that Biden's got 5 months, meaning he is not going to really go any further than this. If he is the one that they're going to allow to run this country or to run the Democratic platform and be the one that goes into the election, I think what we've learned is you've got 5 months with a weak leader, and then it goes back to what we had before. So I think the world does have a view of, well, we see what Trump did for the world, we see what Biden did for the world, and we saw that we kind of did what we want when Biden was president. So if you see a window, and here's where we're going to camp out. If you see a window open to where you have 5 months, if you're a leader of this world, and this world is led by a lot of evil people. So if you're a tyrannical or evil leader, or someone who wants to do what you want to do, such as North Korea, China with Taiwan, Iran, if you're a leader that's saying, you know what, this is my time, I think what you realized last night was, this is that time. Just today, China is now preparing to move into Taiwan. There's a story, and I want to read it to you, because I think that what a lot of these leaders are saying is, well, we've got 5 months. If we're going to do something, it's going to come to the point where we better do this before Trump is back president. Not that they're just so overwhelmingly scared of Trump. I think Trump is a powerful leader, and I think they know they didn't get away with things like they did under this administration. But listen to this. This was reported just late last night on into today. It says CCP hires Western military aviators to prepare for war with Taiwan, as the Taiwan military expert warns. Now, that happened after the debate. So what am I saying? If things are going to take place, and there is going to be wars that go on, or there's going to be captures, or there's going to be conflicts, and there's going to be overstepping, I think this is going to be that time, because you have a weak, feeble leader who represented that last night wholeheartedly. After 2 weeks of prep, while Trump was literally doing a campaign push yesterday, I think 1 or 2 speeches prior to the debate, Biden spent 2 weeks basically solitarily confined to Camp David trying to prepare for this, and he was weak and feeble. So last night, Taiwan says, look, we better prepare because they're hiring aviators to prepare for war. I told you a long time ago, the push was spring and early summer actually was the most ideal, quote unquote, ideal time for going into Taiwan. Well, that time, that springtime passed, and we kind of went into summer. Now we're in kind of midsummer, and so I was like, well, maybe they're holding off. Well, no, I think last night proved to them is saying, okay, now is the time. If we're going to do it, if we've been building towards this, now is the time. So I think what we saw last night is a weak leader that will now be reactionary across the world. Listen to this. Early in the morning, the wee hours of the morning, Zero Hedge had a report says Russia pummels Ukrainian airfields set for House Western supplied F-16 jets. They stepped up their attacks. Again, after the debate. Does that mean anything? Was it just coincidental? It could be. But I think what we're going to see is all those, you know how they say the big cat's away, the mouse come out and play. I think they realized that there's no true leader right now. Kamala was a joke when they interviewed her last night. I think his surrogates struggled to try to get some kind of traction because Trump really didn't. It's not that Trump had a star-studded night. He was calm, cool, collected. He got his point across and really did not just go lamb-blasted. Didn't understand the golf thing at the end from either one of them, but that's just, I think, pompous men being pompous men. But he really didn't have to knock it out of the park. All he had to do was just look stable, and he did that. So I think Kamala and all these people, all these surrogates for Biden are struggling to try to figure out, well, they can't really rain on Trump because he really didn't do anything bad. It's just Biden did terrible. So I think what we're seeing now is all these tyrannical leaders and all these people who wanted war, all these people who wanted to cause conflict are saying, you know what? The guy's out. So it's now time for us to play. It's time for us to get our way. So Russia steps up just last night, attacks. China is starting to uptick their thoughts of going into Taiwan. I'll give you another report that's kind of scary. This came out yesterday before the debate. It says Biden was already preparing to approve deployment of U.S. military contractors to Ukraine. Now, if he's contemplating that, if Russia steps up its efforts and takes out the F-16s and all this other stuff, are we going to see the new Blackwaters? Are we going to see the new style private military starting to go in, U.S. contractors going into Ukraine? Again, coming from a man who showed very much weakness last night, are we sure that he is making a wise decision, or is he just literally walking into a major world war? Two other things I think you're going to see because of the last night. I think you're going to see Iran really uptick the fact that, you know, they've gotten billions of dollars given to them out of sanctions, but also released from the U.S. Biden's release and trying to negotiate with them. It blows my mind. But I think you're going to see them really push the nuclear capabilities now. The uranium enrichment a whole lot more. I think you're going to see them uptick that to a point where they know this is the time, again, because of what's shown last night. Another thing, North Korea has been in the news a lot lately. They've been testing some missiles, tested one yesterday. It blew up in midair. But they're starting to become bigger friends with Russia. So are we seeing the fact that they may start aligning to a point where North Korea even talked about sending people over to Russia? So are we going to see North Korea kind of say, you know what, I'm going to get in on this action too? So I think you're seeing some big players really say, you know, again, the guy is not, he's not mentally there. I don't know who's running the country, but right now, if we're going to do what we want to do, we're going to do it right now before we get a new president in. That way he comes in and has to deal with the situation, but it's not that we had to actually formulate it. It allows us to get traction, get what we want, get in, get out, such as China. I mean, China, the story is that China actually could take Taiwan over without hardly any resistance, and America's not quick enough to get over there because it's so far away. Will this 5-month window be exactly what China's wanting? I think it's something to think about. I think that's what came out of last night. Was not the fact that Trump won. Was not the fact that this election is over. It's not the fact that Biden's going to get ousted and they're going to find someone else. All that's all possibilities. But I think the biggest thing was that you showed that America had a weak leader. And not only a weak leader, a very, very sick leader. And I think with that makes the world powers, and they were watching, that makes the Russia, the China, the Iran, the North Korea, and any other bad player say, you know what? Now is the time. So we're going to see more chaos over the next 4 or 5 months. I do believe that. And I do believe that you're going to see the uptick of people coming into this country illegally too. I think you're going to see that. Why? Because I think last night proved that, okay, unless they change to Newsom, unless they change to Michelle, unless they change to someone else, Trump is a shoo-in to win this unless he gets sick and something happens to him. Bar that, Trump will win. So if that's the case, we better get in while the getting's good, because once they stop the planes, once they start deporting, once they close the borders, we have no option, and that will take place as soon as Trump's back in. So I think you're also going to see an impact of influx of people coming into this country. So I think we're going to see a lot of harder times over the next few months. I hope I'm wrong, but I think when we see weak leadership, and this is with business, think about business, think about a weak manager at a restaurant. When there's a weakness at the head, then it tends to be where people are not as focused on doing the right thing. It means that people are more lax in their policies. It means that people get taken advantage of when there's bad leadership. And I think we're to that point. And I think that if people really truly believe that Biden will be the nominee and he will be the one running, I still believe they'll take him out. I hope they don't, actually. I think this is Trump's best chance. But if he is the one that they will put in and they're not changing, I believe everyone knows Trump will win. If that's the case, that allows these mice to play while the big cat's away for another good 4 to 5 months. Why do I think crime is going to go up in the cities? Because I think they know, again, if I'm going to do what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it right now. Why do I think the border is going to be influx? Because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right now. Why I have the time, and why we have the same policies for at least another few months. Why am I going into Taiwan? Why am I going into Ukraine deeper? Why am I trying to do what I'm trying to do with the uranium enrichment in Iran? I think all of these are because weak leaders. And I think last night showed that more than anything. What I want you to learn from the debate is not actually what happened on stage. It's what the stage taught us about our president. And now we have to live with the repercussions of that for the next few months. And that can be scary. I'm anxious to see what's going to happen. I'm anxious to see how the spin is going to keep on going for the next week or two. And I don't think we'll ever see another debate. I really don't. I believe there'll be a catch-22 there. I believe you're going to see more lawfare against Trump over the next few weeks. I think a lot will come out of last night, and it's not just what they said. I think it's exactly how the president acted. This was really a ploy on how good he could show up, and he did not, and he didn't perform well. And therefore, I think it allowed the world to see what's actually going on, and that could be tough. Guys, let me hear your thoughts. Is it just me, or was it just that's what I got out of last night? Wasn't the fact that, someone hit one out of the park? I think Trump did fine. I have no problem with what he did. I think it just showed a very inept leader. And with an inept leader, again, the big cat's away, the mouse will play. And I'm scared to see what the world powers are going to do, because they know they can. Let me know your thoughts. God bless.